If you guys want some coins for the new Fut Fantasy promo, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself 5% off your order. This supports the channel greatly. So what's up guys, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video guys, I've got some updated custom tactics and player instructions for what I believe to be the absolute best formation in FIFA 23 right now, which is the 4-3-2-1. This formation is amazing in attack and defense, and it just works so well for the meta of this game. But just before we get into today's video guys, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop this video a thumbs up, so that does really help with the YouTube search algorithm. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside guys, let's get right into today's video. Okay guys, so starting off with the defensive style, as always I like to have this on balance. This is so I'm able to press when I need to press, and I can drop off and be that more conservative when I need to be. So it does give me the great control that I do need, especially against those top end opponents. Moving on to the defensive width guys, we have this on 44. The reason for this is FIFA 23 is primarily a narrow game, so it's important that you do cover those central areas. Now people will obviously go for those cutbacks, but it honestly doesn't matter how high that defensive width is, people will still find the angle to do them. So it's better to have that lower width to stay congested in the middle. Now moving on to depth guys, I'm currently using this on 62. This is so we don't get pinned back too much, and at the same time our defensive line isn't super high as if the depth was on like 72 for example, so we're not always getting through balled either. So it's a very nice balanced defensive line. Moving on to build up play guys, I suggest using balance. This is because it is the most suited for all the different types of FIFA 23 gameplay you might experience, whether it is fast gameplay, slow gameplay or whatever. Balance seems to be the best for all of the different types of gameplay you will experience. Fast build up is okay when the gameplay is good, but it very rarely is. Now moving on to chance creation guys, you have a bit of an option here. You can use direct passing like I do. The reason I use direct passing is because you get the best movement out of your attackers. They're always moving around to break through that defensive line, but if you don't really like direct passing, you could try using forward runs. Now what I will say about forward runs is if you class yourself as a lesser skilled player, you might actually find it easier to create chances with forward runs, but if you're a higher level player it might be easier with direct passing. So it all depends on what type of player you are, but you can try them both out to see which one suits you best. Now moving on to the width guys, for the attack we have this on 48. This is so we still keep a slightly narrow attack, but at the same time our players aren't sitting on top of each other completely. So yeah, we've got like a nice balance here where we've got a little bit of width, but at the same time we're still staying quite narrow, if that makes sense. Now moving on to players in box, I actually have this on 7. Now this might seem a little bit aggressive, but I really do like getting as many players into the box as I can without obviously being exposed at the back. So I have this on 7 so we can just get that extra man into the box and really put the opponent under pressure. As for corners and free kicks, I have these both on 1 because I have a corner kick tutorial that you guys can check out in the top right hand corner of the screen, which requires me to have this on 1. So yeah, that's why we do that. Sorry to interrupt the video guys, but I just wanted to show you guys about Freecash. If you use my link in the top right hand corner of the screen and ensure you are using my code VITALREMA when you sign up, you are able to earn lots of money basically for doing nothing. So you could play Raid Shadow Legends and earn $80, you could download TikTok and earn $2, or you can see what I've done is I've just made an account on Tide and I've got 23,000 coins, which is $23. So you can get coins basically for doing nothing, and then you can cash it out in pretty much anywhere you want, whether it be PayPal, Bitcoin, Litecoin, gift cards. So there's lots of things you can do with it guys, and if you do use my code you will get 3 cases when you do sign up. That is if you earn $1, in which you can earn up to $250 in each case. So it is worth it. I may earn a small commission off of your earnings, but yeah, it's very minor and obviously it does help support the channel. So I just wanted to show you guys this if you are looking to earn some extra money, and be sure to use my code VITALREMA FIFA, yeah, as that does support me greatly. Now, moving on to the players you want to use, guys, in the striker position, you just want to use a nice well-rounded striker. This is because there's only one striker in this formation, so you kind of have to get like a balanced player to really do a bit of everything. In those two striker formations, you can get a balance between the two strikers, but in this formation, you have to get that all in one player. So just go for a nice well-rounded player in that striker position. For the left forward and the right forward, or the two centre forwards, whatever you want to call it, you're just going to want to use those winger style players, the players with pace, skills, ones that can take on a man, agile, shooting ability, all that kind of stuff. You just need those really good, deadly wingers in these positions. Otherwise, you might find it difficult to create those chances. Now, in the left centre mid spot, we use a box-to-box midfielder. This is somebody that's going to attack and defend. And the ideal work rate for this player is a high work rate, because then you're going to get the maximum contribution in the attack and the defence. But, for example, this Pogba is a high-medium, and he still works very well. So, work rates are just something you should aim for, but don't worry too much if you can't get it. Just make sure you're using the right kind of player. Now, in the middle centre mid spot, we actually use like a CDM, somebody that's going to stay back and help us defend. So I'm using the flashback Jorginho because he's got those great defensive stats. He's got a medium high work rate, which means you're going to get the maximum contribution in the defense, and he's not going to be too bothered about attacking. So make sure you're using a defensive player in this centre mid role. Now, for the right centre mid, we actually use an attacker in this position, because they're not actually going to play as a centre mid. This will make sense in the player instructions, but just go for an actual attacker, and preferably somebody that is quick and agile, and somebody that is able to shoot, pass, basically somebody that is very good, like a Messi, an Mbappe, a Neymar, a Jorginho. I'm just using this Chiesa, so don't worry about this player being a centre mid. You can just use an attacker and it will be absolutely fine. As for the left back and the right back, I like to go for a bit of a balance between the two, where I have Roberto Carlos, who is a bit more attacking minded and will assist us going forward, and then I have Cafu, who is a bit more defensive minded in the way that he's set up, and he's going to be a bit more solid at the back, but he's not going to be very good going forward. So I just like to have that balance between the two. But if you guys want to use two attacking fullbacks or two defensive fullbacks, that is completely up to you. As for the centre backs and the goalkeeper, these just need to be those meta players, the ones with pace, physicality, the medium high work rate, just those good players. There's not really too much to say about them. Now, moving on to the player instructions, guys. On the striker, we just literally have him on stay central. The only reason we have him on stay central is because we don't need him drifting off into the wider areas, as we already have two forwards in Di Maria and Jorginho. So we need him to stay in that central area so he is always in position. We leave everything else alone because we don't really want to restrict him too much. In a one striker formation, I try and avoid using getting behind on the striker, because it makes him feel very disconnected from the rest of the team a lot of the time. So I think mixed attack is a lot better, and it does really help the build-up side of the play. Now, for for the right forward, we have stay central and get in behind. We have him on stay central because although he's one of like the wider players in this formation, we still don't want him drifting off too wide, otherwise it plays out like a 4-3-3, and we don't really want that. We want it to be a 4-3-2-1. So we have him on stay central, so he's still staying in those like narrow spaces in the center, and he's getting more involved. We have him on getting behind, so we get the best runs out of him, and it does work very well on this right forward. Now, for the left forward, this is very important. We have default settings and then comeback on defense. The reason we have him on comeback on defense is because it's going to make this defend in a 4-4-2. Why do we do this, you may ask? It's because the 4-4-2 is one of the best defensive formations. It is definitely better than a 4-3-2-1 at defending. So by putting this left forward on comeback on defense, he's going to come back to defend as a left midfielder in a 4-4-2. So the way this is going to set up is the back four is exactly the same. Di Maria will be my left mid, Pogba will be my left centre mid, Jorginho will be my right centre mid, Chiesa will be my right mid, and Keane and Jorginho will be the two strikers. So that's just how we set up when we're defending, and it just makes it a lot easier. Moving on to the left centre mid, we have default settings and then cover centre. We have him on default settings because he's our more box-to-box player. We don't really want to restrict him too much. We want him to attack and defend. And yeah, the only important thing is cover centre, so he does actually defend as one of the centre mids in this 4-4-2 shape. Now, moving on to the middle centre mid, the more defensive minded player, we have stay back while attacking, stay on the edge of the box, cross, and cover centre. Stay back means he's obviously not going to go forward, which is what we want. Stay on the edge of the box for cross means if he somehow ends up going up the pitch, he's not going to go darting into the penalty box. And we have him on cover centre, so he does defend as one of those centre mids. Now for the right centre mid, the position where I said you guys should use an attacker, we have get forward, get into the box across and cover wing. Get forward means he's obviously going to go flying forward because he is an attacking player, that's what we want him for. Remember, he's not actually playing as a centre mid really. We have him on get into the box for cross, so he does make the transitional runs to get more involved to the penalty box. This means we're going to find it easier to create chances and find this player in the dangerous areas. And then we have him on cover wing, so he defends as a right mid in a 4-4-2. So it's very important we have him on cover wing, otherwise it does mess up the whole defensive shape, so make sure you guys don't forget that. Now for the left back, my more attacking fullback, I have balanced attack and overlap. The reason we have balanced attack and overlap is because the 4-3-2-1 is still quite a narrow formation, so sometimes we need to get that extra width. So by committing one of the fullbacks forward and having them on the overlap instruction, it gives you that wider option when you are attacking, so we can play narrowly and widely at the same time. For the right back, my more defensive minded player, I have stay back while attacking and overlap. We have him on stay back, so we always at least have 3 at the back, and then we have him on overlap in case we do send him on a run forward. He will make the overlapping runs to add the extra width. So yeah, one of them unbalanced and the other one on stay back is what I do suggest. As for the centre backs and the goalkeeper, we just leave these alone. We do not touch them. But yeah guys, they're my custom tactics and the player instructions for the 4-3-2-1. If you guys have enjoyed or found this useful, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.